Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Dopey. Yeah, a lot to talk about in the world of sport. A lot of sport going on at the moment, which is the perfect time of the year. Really, you got multiple sports going on at once. How have you been? You been enjoying your sport recently?
Doing very well, yes. The winter sports season in Australia has just kicked off, which is a great time of year, obviously. It's something comforting to me, at least I find, about coming home on a Thursday or a Friday night and just knowing the footy's going to be on.
Yeah,
It's just something you can sit down and watch. It's
either
a good
footy.
time.
I mean, I don't watch AFL because it's
Yeah, well, the Swans had a big win to start the year.
very big win. I saw that. Yeah, what do you make of that? Just right off the bat, are you did you impressed by the Swans, or was it obviously the Melbourne are a tough team, but
Yeah, well, I think the Swans, they've got a good team. They obviously made the grand final 2 years ago. Last year made the finals with a late push, but didn't do as well. But I think they have a great young team, so they should be in contention. They made a couple good signings. I believe it's Grundy, the ruckman in the middle.
yeah, I noticed him. Yeah,
Yes.
man bun.
Yeah, man bun. So, yeah, they should be looking good. Obviously, Buddy's now retired, so they can finally be free of his
Oh yeah, those
oldness,
terrible
basically.
players.
But, yeah, we'll see how they go.
What did you make of that change? Obviously, they've sort of tried to capitalize on the NRL moving to Vegas and putting all their games.
And they did those Sydney games, yeah.
What do you make of that? Obviously, a lot of the Melbourne crowd aren't impressed, but
yeah, most people didn't like it, to be honest. I think, I saw the figures. They had 40,000 at the SCG, which is a pretty good turnout, I think. So, I don't know. I think the reason people hate it is because AFL have traditional round one fixtures where the two clubs play each other. NRL don't really have that. So the fans are just mad that they went away from that. So yeah, look, I feel like the AFL is honestly just chasing the NRL to try and find something to compete, where the NRL is always doing these groundbreaking things, whether it be Magic Round or going to Vegas, whatever it is, and the AFL is always playing catch up with these things. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's more. I thought it was more of a reactionary thing to what the NRL was doing rather than. And look, we're NRL fans over AFL. I think predominantly you like a bit of AFL on the side, but so it's a bit of a biased opinion. However, I do think that it was a bit of, and a lot of Melbourne fans you hear sort of thought it was a bit of a weak move for them to sort of try and capitalize on, like I said, them going to Vegas. And look, if you've been to Melbourne and if you've been to Sydney, it's clear and obvious what the two main sports are, and they're completely different. I mean, we went to, and this is no, I don't want to come across like I'm hating on the AFL because, look, I have to admit, their support in Melbourne is groundbreaking. We went to the F1 with a mate, and it was crazy. There was an NRL game on, and we went to every pub we could find. But they were all playing the AFL pre-game show instead of the actual live NRL game. And it's just bizarre how much and how badly they, how passionate they are for AFL in Melbourne. So, yeah, if I'm honest, I think they should probably stick to Melbourne. And look, and that's not saying anything, but their game is very hard to understand if you're trying to gather a new audience, you're trying to gain a new audience, it's very hard to convince others to sort of support if you haven't been brought up and you don't know the rules to an extent. Like I don't know what half the shit means that they say on the television, but I still enjoy it from time to time. So yeah, I think the NRL is more palatable. That's why they went to Vegas. And I think that's why it was a good move, because I think it's quite similar to the NFL in a way that the tackle system is similar to the down system.
I think all the fumbling in AFL and all the ground stuff, I don't think that would translate very well to Americans. They would just go, "This looks like a bunch of unco people fumbling over a ball." But
AFL want to be Australia's number one sport, and they believe they are already, but they want to truly cement that. However, I think it's going to be very tough, especially in New South Wales, because it's such an NRL place. It's more basketball, I think, in terms of participation, anyways, than AFL. So it's very tough to sort of go into the Sydney market in particular. But look, we'll see. I don't know what their viewing figures have been over in Sydney, or I know they were in Brisbane as well for this round as well. I saw the Lions were playing last night. So yeah, I'm not too sure how it's gone for them in terms of a numbers perspective. However, I reckon you've got to stick to your bread and butter, and that is Melbourne. Everyone in Melbourne, they eat it up. pack it out, 80,000 people every week. So yeah, there's no harm in staying consistent and staying good at what you already are at. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it anyway. And it's a biased opinion. I'll 100% admit that, but it's just my sort of
well, I guess only time will tell. I mean, on the NRL in Vegas, the Fox Sports 1 viewership in America turns out they only had 60,000 people, and they had like 1.5 in Australia. Yeah, so it's
no, I think it was if you count it in total, I think it was 60,000 for the first game and like 48,000 for the second game.
So
I'm not surprised by that. I think to expect that Americans will just like turn on the UFC, like turn on the NRL, but like, holy shit, this sport's amazing, man. Let's keep watching. Like, they're not going to think like that. They're going to think, what the fuck is this shit? I want to watch a sport that I know. But I think the positivity from Vegas is the awareness. And you see people, Americans in Vegas are like, why the fuck is there 15,000 Australians here? Like, well, I'm fucking walking down the street, all I hear is an Australian accent. And I think that's the positive part of it. I think, giving awareness to the American viewership and making it consistent as well as with the 5-year plan to sort of bring them over every year, I think it is quite valuable in that sense that it brings awareness, and year on year it should build. And look, if it's in next year the viewership's down on it, then it's obviously a disappointment and it's been a failure of an experiment. But I think it was a good sort of starting sort of step. And even though a lot of people are sort of clowning, mainly AFL fans are clowning the fucking viewership, but I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I think more the attendance and the support from Australia. I mean, the viewership in Australia is the highest it's been. I mean, it's higher than any other round other than the grand final. So that's a positive within itself. So
yeah. And are you a fan of like winner stays type of thing, and then you get 2 new teams in, or?
I did hear that sort of concept being floated around. I don't hate it. I think it maybe should be. I don't know how you'd go about it.
Because all I know is Penrith have to be there. No bias. Like, the fact that they weren't there this year is stupid.
I get that. However, you can't send every team there.
No, but you can send the best. One
of. I understand that viewpoint, but it's more about commerciality in that sense. I get it. And I'm not saying Penrith aren't commercial, but it's Penrith. So I get that.
America doesn't know anything about Penrith.
And that's why I get it. And I think maybe next year they will be. However, to the broader picture, not every NRL club should be involved. not like it can't be like 4 years.
The Raiders aren't going.
But I mean, that's not even a bad. I don't think the Raiders are like, if they improve their team and they get like a good, exciting team with like Xavier Savage, who looked really, really good on the weekend as well. I don't hate that idea. Like, I don't hate Canberra because, it's the capital city of Australia. I think there's some marketability around it. However, you can't send like certain. I won't name the clubs, but you can't.
The Dragons.
There are clubs you just can't send because one, their fans, they've got like 7,000 members, so they don't have any fans. But you've got to send. So they get no viewership in Australia, and it's just you've got to send the biggest. And Melbourne, I think, is on the list as well, which I think is a good idea. Obviously, the Roosters are a marketable club. I was surprised the Seagulls went, actually, because of that reason. However, they played so well that, and their game was terrific in terms of
I think they were like,
spectacle.
Look, we know Turbo's going to play this one game. We don't know if he's going to play another. Let's send him over.
Let's might as well use up Turbo as much as we can. Look, I think it's something that needs to be considered more. I heard that they were considering it early on, and they'd confirm it a couple of weeks after this Vegas event. So I prefer if they take their time with it a bit to sort of see what the best system is. I don't hate the winner stays because it retains some familiarity with the teams.
Yeah.
Also brings in new teams over, so I like that that sort of setting. But yeah, we'll see.
We shall see. I'm sure Volandis and Abdo, they'll cook up something.
They're cooking up. They are cooking up, so fair play to those guys.
Yeah, they're cooking. Okay, we'll stay in America. Different sport, though. NBA, basketball. obviously we're in a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment with everyone knowing the good teams. I don't even know how long's left. A month left of the regular season, something like that.
Something like that.
Before the playoffs begin. So I guess what we're going to do today is go through the few teams we're looking at to either make a rise up the standings and contend, or the 3 teams that we're confident are going to be contenders at this point in the season.
So did you want to go first, or what was your...
You can go first.
Okay. So...
you want to do per conference or just 3?
I think 3 in total. Look, my risers, and I don't think it's a surprise. I think they already are rising. My number 1 riser is the Warriors.
Okay.
It's not the Lakers. Don't get your fucking hopes up. They're looking a lot better recently. And it's far-fetched from what they were. And look, I don't think they're going to be fucking winning the title here. But I do think they'll make the playoffs. And look, they'll probably make it through the play-in. However, I think out of Sacramento, Dallas, the Lakers and them, I think they're looking the best. And now Dallas, by far and away, have the best top-tier talent. And they're probably the best team. But they just somehow can't string enough wins together at the moment. Oh, you're...
Well, I mean, I think it's tough to say they have the best top-tier talent when you got Steph Curry and LeBron and AD.
I mean, in terms of the top 3 guys in their team. Like, you could say the Lakers arguably, however, the drop-off from Anthony Davis is clear. Like, Kyrie Irving, they have, in my opinion, top-level talent. I think Doncic is one of the best players in the league. I think Kyrie is one of the best players in the league. And I think they've got good role players. So I think by top tier, I mean like starting lineup talent.
Okay.
So I think the Warriors are the risers in the West anyway. I think they're obviously rising at the moment, and they're doing a lot better than they were to start the season. And I think they've found a formula. They've got these elite players, and the young players are getting more minutes, which is obviously helping them as well in terms of rotation. And hopefully Clay can sort of, not be an absolute freaking pillock. And yeah, I think they'll be a lot better. I was thinking about the Suns. However, I cannot stand that team. They're 5-5 in the last 10. So it's not like they're rising right now. However, they did go through a stretch where they were quite good. I just have zero faith in them long term against a good team. They have zero ability to do that and compete on multiple levels. They don't have the bench or the depth to do it. So I'm going to probably lean my other 2 teams east. It's tough. It is tough. I think Miami's my definite number 1 riser in the East, just because they are finding their groove and they have the history of playoff performances. I think that, they're 7.
Wow, Orlando are 4th right now.
Well, yeah,
Jesus.
Orlando are rising at the moment. However, I feel it's going to be one of those teams that once they get to the playoffs, they're a first-round exit.
Yeah.
And that's not no fault of their own. They're just a really, really talented team. So I'm not, blaming them for that talent. However, they're young, and you can't win with youth that has no experience. And look, you can say the Warriors did it, but they also lost in the playoffs before they won the chip. And they, in terms of generational talent, they had it. I don't think the Magic have generational talent. So, yeah, I personally think Miami are the team to watch out for in the East. New York are sliding at the moment, so I think hopefully Miami will sort of rise up, and I imagine Miami always sort of will get an advantageous sort of matchup at some point in the playoffs. So they're looking like they could be facing Orlando first round, which is not too shabby. Alonzo.
Miami's definitely the team, and I've seen so many things because they just signed Patty Mills. People are going, the Heat have signed Patty Mills. That's a pretty mid signing. And then 3 months later in the playoffs, he turns into the 2014 Patty Mills, and they're like, how do they do it again? Because literally every role player they have just turns into a god in the playoffs somehow. So yeah, the Heat of the team, obviously Jimmy. They've barely been healthy this whole year. Like, I feel like I've never seen Hero, Bam, and Jimmy playing together this whole year. So
yeah. And I agree. So, look, my third one is not really a rise. I don't have too much faith. Obviously, they're a really good team in the East. But they are doing a lot better, and that's Milwaukee. I think they were shocking, absolutely abysmal under Doc when he first started. They've looked a lot better. They beat the Clippers without fucking Giannis, which was embarrassing on our part, but that's by the by.
Weren't you up by a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think they're rising at the moment. They're the number 2 seed right now, so I think their sort of emergences are really playing solid basketball at the moment. As much as I don't like Doc and I don't have faith in him whatsoever to win at all in the playoffs, I think, look, they're the number 2 seed right now. The rest behind them, Cleveland, Orlando, New York. I mean, fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
It's just such a contrast to the West. It's just...
I mean, does anyone have faith in
I reckon
any of those teams getting past the first round? I mean, we might be in a situation where the 6th, 7th, and 8th seed are all in the...
the second round.
Yeah, all in the second round. Maybe not the 8th seed, but you know what I mean. Like the 5th... it's just embarrassing. I don't get how this is happening.
Well, like Philly are kind of a team that could improve, obviously depending on when Embiid comes back. But they are...
But he looks to be out for a while. Is he going to get back in time for the playoffs?
Some people are saying write him off for the year. I mean, I would strongly recommend against that because you can't really waste Joel Embiid years at this point. I mean, he's 30 and he can't stay healthy when he's young. So the likelihood of him staying healthy when he's old is not great. So, and you've got a decent team now. I would be doing everything I can to get him back for the playoffs.
They're shocking at the moment. I mean, they're on an absolute slide. I mean, they're the 7th seed.
I know.
They're in the play-in.
They're below where they should be, so that's why I'm saying they could potentially rise. But again, they're not going to if Embiid doesn't come back. So,
well, look, yeah, those are my 3. I think there's 2 clear ones in my opinion. That's the Warriors and Miami. However, I do think Milwaukee is improving and probably will cement a really good spot in the playoffs, and hopefully they'll
and
go far.
The Lakers also could rise.
All right. Start off with your number 1.
Listen, number 1 Lakers.
So
no, I'll make this a legitimate take. So the Lakers, I think, will rise in terms of their on-court performance, but I could see where they finish 9th or 10th in the regular season.
Oh, really?
No way. Just because we are already decently far behind.
Yeah,
and we have a ridiculously hard schedule. So we're playing, like we just played.
So you're the 10th seed right now.
Yeah.
And you've had an easy schedule so far. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we fucked the start of the season. So it's that's bad. But the last 5 games we've been playing better basketball, and we've played the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Suns, the Kings, like all back to back to back to back to back. You're going to lose a few of those games. So I think we're a riser in terms of we're winning a few of those games and we're competing, so we're looking good. All we need to do is just somehow get to the playoffs. Obviously, it will be tough. Like, whoever's 9th and 10th, that's tough to have to beat either the Warriors and the Lakers and then the Mavs or the Kings just to get in. That's a fucking tough slog. And then you got to play. But then the reward is you get to play Minnesota. So
without Cat. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like it is actually its own mini playoffs.
Yeah.
You kind of get first round bye once you get to the playoffs, so just go all out in the play-in and, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
So, no, I think, it's going to be a bit of a bizarre one that when Minnesota could, because how close it is between those top 4 seeds. I think the Clippers are 4 right now, and they're 3 games behind, so Minnesota could definitely easily drop out of that 1, 2, or 3 spots. So, yeah.
Just avoid Denver at all costs. That is...
Yeah, Denver would be a nightmare. Look, I think the Clippers are beatable. I haven't been as impressed recently. And they are definitely beatable in my opinion. So even though I think we're much better than all of those teams and we're playing unreal basketball, and I think playoffs, Kawhi Leonard is fucking insane. However, look, knock on wood, this doesn't happen. But the injuries that happen to the Clippers are, well, no. It wouldn't be abstract for one of our key players to go down and then we're fucked. So I understand probably a more willingness to versus the Clippers or the Timberwolves at this point in comparison to the Thunder or the Nuggets. So yeah, I think that's an interesting point that you put across. What's your number 2 team in terms of a riser?
Well, I mean, you've kind of said all the ones. Like, you cannot pick anyone below 10th. I mean,
well, you can. There could be a team that, like Atlanta, I think is sneaky.
Atlanta.
They could sneakily get in.
The Bulls have somehow got to 9th. I don't understand.
Well, the East is a fucking joke.
The Nets people were saying the Nets are a lock for the playoffs before this year. Because they had like
Mikal Bridges,
I guess Ben Simmons and Mikal Bridges.
Oh, I don't want to
lots of good
hear
role
his
players.
name. God, have you heard he's out for the rest of the year?
Oh, how many games did he play? Like 3?
Something like that.
What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Like,
I think what was it? Nerve damage in his back,
dude. Just no one cares if you go out there and your back's fucked and you play shit because you play shit anyway. So just go out there.
Oh, it's like he's either the most unlucky player in NBA history, or he's just...
Well, they're not even like... At least tear an ACL. Then it's like, okay, fair enough, you're sitting out a year. You've just got these incoherent little back injuries.
Look, back injuries... Back injuries happen, obviously. You know, there's many good players that have had back injuries that sort of crippled their career. But, I mean, it's getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, well, Dwight
the
Howard...
coincidences are adding up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I
don't think he's going to get a new contract.
Oh,
when
no.
This one's done.
No, there's no way. There's no one... I mean, he'll get a minimum from the Lakers, probably, but he won't get any, actual real contract. There's no way that any team will ever pay him anything like he's on. Like, at least he's on... Like, good for him that he, signed his big deal before he coincidentally signed his big deal, and then, all these back problems happen. But, no, I think, it's good that, he got his money first, in all seriousness. And then,
probably could have gone to someone else a bit more deserving.
Well, look, he would have
Like
stayed
me.
with the owner, so who cares? Who's your third team? Do you have a...
third team? Look, I'll say Indiana.
Ooh.
Now, even though I don't think Indiana can win a series, I think they could with the Knicks and Philly and even Orlando. I could see them sliding a bit. So I think they could potentially finish like 6th. That's not much of a riser, but I don't fucking believe in them that much. I just believe in them a bit. But I mean, Halliburton's obviously a gun. They've got... Who did they pick up? Siakam. They got Siakam now, so he's got championship experience. Miles Turner has turned into a decent center, so good job on him. So they've got a decent team. They've got some athleticism with Obi Toppin. Matherin's a good 6-man. So they've got a solid team. Obviously, they can't guard anyone, but if they get hot, they could win a few games, maybe push someone in the first round.
Yeah. Good shocker team here or there. But yeah, I'm not against that. I think... Obviously, the Pacers do have that offensive talent. It's just if they're going to be able to sort of realistically compete in a playoff series defensively, but we'll see. Moving on. Is there any... What's the next sort of topic you'd like to discuss?
Moving on. We were talking about the Heat. Now, something else that's happening in Miami this weekend, or tomorrow exactly, other than the Heat playing basketball, is the UFC is in town.
Yay.
If you didn't know, all you'd have to do was watch the press conference, and 10 journalists would ask Dana White how the UFC feels to be back in Miami. It's really good journalism by all those guys. So, the UFC back in Miami, massive card this week. We're going to break it all down. This is the place where you get all the best analysis.
Don't expect me to break it down, by the way.
Analysis.
Expect him to break it down.
The main card itself is very sick. The first card is Peter Yan versus... the first fight is Peter Yan versus...
The main card.
The first fight on the main card.
Okay.
Is Peter...
Good thing we clarified.
Peter Yan versus Song Yadong.
Such a stupid name. How do you... To be fair, if you've got that name, you can't be like an accountant. You can't be like, what's your name? Song Yadong. Like, no, there's no way.
Well, he's Chinese, so he'd probably be a good accountant.
You can't have a last name. No, dude. I just clocked what you were about to say. No. In all seriousness, I have no idea who the other guy is, so I'm just going to say Peter Yan's winning.
He's Uriah Faber's protege, basically.
Oh, God. Good thing he's Uriah Faber's protege.
He's probably on
multiple world champion Uriah Faber.
He's probably on the juice. But as I saw a video the other day, so when TJ fought Garbrandt, and they both came out of Uriah Faber's camp, and TJ obviously popped for steroids later on.
Yeah.
And Cody Garbrandt at the press conference is accusing him of being on steroids because he obviously was. And then Cody Garbrandt goes, well, you showed everyone at the gym how to do it. So he fully exposed the fact that everybody in the gym is on steroids, probably including himself and TJ Dillashaw, just on a UFC press conference.
Jesus Christ.
And it's from 5 years ago, but I just saw it again. It was funny. But yeah, Pedion is coming off a few losses, actually. Lost to O'Malley, lost to Marab, Davalashvili, and obviously the Sterling losses. So
Tough, though. I mean, really good fighters, all of them.
yeah. And he was, 3 years ago, he was thought to be the greatest bantamweight of all time, or on the way to doing that. And he's had a little bit of a slump. So it's a tough fight. Song Yadong is good. I'd probably lean towards Pedion as well, just because I like him a bit more and I'd like to see him win. So,
yeah. And you can't have a champion called Son Yadong. That just can't happen.
Okay, I guess not. Next fight, Gilbert Burns versus our boy, the next Aussie hopeful, Jack Della Maddalena.
Never heard of him.
You've never heard of him?
No.
Holy fuck. Okay, well, he's a good fighter.
What division?
Welterweight.
Okay.
You know who Gilbert Burns is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's fighting Gilbert Burns, who's fourth. So it's a big fight. If he wins this, he'll be in title contention. I think he's going to win it. You know, Gilbert Burns is old. He's a bit chinny. He's good at jiu-jitsu, but
okay.
That's about it. I feel like it's a winnable fight for Jack.
What's Jack's speciality?
Boxer.
Okay, so he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And he's also a boxer as well. Got it.
Okay.
Back to the dad jokes.
Yes.
That's so are you predicting a Jack? Obviously, you're Australian.
Yeah, obviously biasly predicting him.
So
Gilbert Burns will probably choke him out in the first round. But, fuck it. It'll be entertaining. And then the next fight up the card is Kevin Holland, who Jack Della Maddalena just beat, ironically, versus Michael Venom Page in his debut for the UFC. Do you know who MVP is? I know what an MVP is.
You would have seen some of
his. You would have seen some of his knockouts. He has been in Bellator and he had this insane flying knee knockout where he rolled a pokeball at him as a celebration. You probably would have seen it.
I might have done.
And he literally dented this dude's skull. Like the X-ray is fucked. There's a full cavity in his head. So yeah, entertaining fight again. Kevin Holland is always entertaining. MVP is 36 though, and he's debuting, similar to Michael Chandler, so he's probably not going to fucking win a belt or anything, but he could have a few entertaining fights. He is the guy, so you know how KSI does his boxing thing where he's doing his fucking up and down shit? He's the guy, he's copied that off. That's how he fights in MMA, basically.
Okay.
So
they copied KSI?
No, KSI copied him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So he's English, so
right.
You can support him. But yeah, he'll probably he should win. Kevin Holland's kind of mid, so
he's funny though.
He's funny. Guy. He's funny, yeah, but he's kind of mid at fighting. So
okay, well,
MVP.
Shout out MVP.
Co-main event: Dustin Poirier back in action versus a Frenchman, Benoit Saint Denis.
Stupid name that is.
Okay, well,
I'm okay, sorry for the commentary.
Your only analysis is names, right?
Yeah,
now.
I'm just judging how bad someone's name is.
Yeah, this is kind of like a journeyman versus up-and-comer prospect type of fight. Now, Dustin Poirier isn't really in the journeyman category yet. He's still at the top of the division, but obviously coming off that head kick knockout against Gaethje, if he loses this, it's probably time to hang it up or just do a Tony Ferguson and fight forever.
Just lose forever. That's not a bad option.
So it's a big fight. Now, Benoit Saint Denis does have a massive staph infection in the middle of his forehead, so we'll see how that impacts things. But look, I'm going to go with Dustin just because I have a favorability to the older generation. I don't know why. I just do.
Childhood memories, nostalgia.
Nostalgia. So I'm just going to lean towards Dustin. And I haven't really seen Benoit Saint Denis fight that much. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dustin. Hopefully he can get it done, and then big fight in line next for him. Who knows? You going to pick someone?
I'll go Poirier.
Okay. And then the main event is obviously Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera. Bantamweight title fight. Rematch. So Cheeto Vera technically, he did win the first fight. It was when O'Malley got his leg kicked and it all fucked up.
Oh, fuck.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would have done, but I've completely forgotten.
He basically won the fight. He leg kicked him and his leg shut down pretty much. So, yeah. But I think O'Malley should win the fight. He's more technical in a striking sense. Cheeto is also a striker. He doesn't really wrestle that much, so it's not going to be a massive threat to him. But he has a rock solid chin, like a Max Holloway type of chin. So it's going to be hard for O'Malley to put him away. And that's the risky thing. It could be similar to a Volk to Poirier type of thing where O'Malley's touching him, outpointing him, but then he gets caught on the fence and gets finished by a big shot. It's a similar type of matchup, I'd say. But I'm going to go with O'Malley just because. Why not?
Yeah, me too. I think O'Malley's charismatic.
Really? This is the thing. He's kind of being exposed as just being a bit of a fraud on the mic.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he not that?
He just doesn't know. He doesn't really have any good lines. He looks like he just
looks like an idiot. So he just looks entertaining.
Did you see him at the press conference?
No.
He was dressed up in a green tinsel dress.
Oh, it's a bit weird.
Yeah. Weird. So,
well, yeah, look, I think O'Malley's got, obviously, talent in terms of knockout ability, and he's, obviously a champion right now, so he's a great fighter, but yeah, he is a bit weird. And look, he's entertaining, and he's an entertaining guy, so I think that's why he's popular, and he's one of the best well-known fighters in the UFC. However, yeah, I'm probably just sticking with him because I know him. So, good on him.
Good on him. So, that's we'll leave UFC there for now. Hopefully all those predictions come true. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. It's not hard to predict or anything.
Yeah, it's not like you get it wrong every week.
No, never. Staying in combat sports, actually, at the moment, big fight, boxing. Very rare there's a big fight in boxing these days, but there's actually a couple at the moment because we can kind of talk. I don't know if you've seen the Ryan Garcia stuff, but...
Oof, yeah, I wouldn't touch that fucking thing with a 10-foot pole.
That's a pretty interesting story. But today, Francis Ngannou is fighting Anthony Joshua. I believe they're, as we're filming this, about to step into the ring. I think the co-main event's finished 15 minutes ago, so they're probably just about to start round one. How do you predict that fight's going to go as it's happening right now?
Look, Ngannou shocked a lot of people with his performance against Fury. This is tough. I will still lean Joshua. Joshua, if it was back in the day when Joshua was, a lot more entertaining, let's say when he was fighting, when he was, putting his heart on the line and he was, leaving his chin a bit out there, I would say it was probably a 50-50. Either one of them is going to get knocked out. However, Joshua nowadays is a lot more conservative. He's a lot more jab kind of guy than a big overhand. So, look, I'll go with Joshua just simply because he's just a better boxer. However, Ngannou has so much power, it is insane. Have you seen that video of what's his name, the heavyweight in the UFC, English guy, Tom Aspinall?
Aspinall, yeah.
And he's doing that punching machine, and he doesn't even get to half of what Ngannou did. And it's just insane how much he's probably the most powerful puncher in the history of the world. Yeah, and that's not an egregious thing to say.
I've had that take for years, and people used to go, "Oh, Deontay Wilder's got more power," and I'm like, "Nah, bro, he doesn't."
No, there's no way. He's just so powerful, and I think, and the thing with Joshua is Fury's got an unreal chin. Like, his ability to get knocked down and get back up is better than anyone in boxing. Joshua, on the other hand, he's got a bit of a weak chin, and if fucking Ngannou catches him, it's night good. It's night. So I think Joshua probably. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Ngannou knocked him out. Which is probably, I think, the take that most people would agree with.
I think that's pretty standard. I think Joshua should win. Because even though the Fury fight was close and Ngannou arguably won it, I think Fury looked pretty shit in that fight.
Yeah.
So, look, Joshua should win. But he is also a bit of a bitch sometimes. So, ever since he got chinned by Ruiz, he's been so tentative to do anything really. So, he's been winning just enough fights to stay relevant without being spectacular. So, if it's going to ever happen, it's going to have to happen now for him because he is, 34, 35? So, I know you can fight till you're 40 as a heavyweight, but you don't want to be leaving it too late. So, I think he needs to win. If we ever see the Fury fight, he needs to win. We're probably never going to see the Fury-AJ fight. So, I don't even know why I'm hoping for it at this point. But
oh, mate, don't ever fucking think of it. I mean, it's never happening. Probably Usyk Fury is never going to happen. Never mind Joshua Fury.
Well, has that been rebooked yet?
I have no idea. I've given up trying to track if this is going to happen or not. If there's going to be any sort of unification of any belts ever. because it's just so much politics and money involved. There's no point really, and that's what you appreciate about the UFC. Even though Dana's a bit of a ball buster, he's a bit of a cheapskate. We can all sort of appreciate from looking out that he does run a well-oiled ship. You know, he's always making sure that the best fights are getting made. Whereas
they do say dictators always get the most done.
That's true, and maybe that's why boxing needs a dictator.
Exactly, they're too democratized.
Yeah, it's too much like a democracy. Dictatorship's the way to go.
Exactly.
We need it. Yeah, everyone everywhere should move towards a dictatorship, according to Dopey over here. But no, I
should be the leader of it.
What would your name be? Would you just be general? Would you be a general?
General? I'd be commander, I think.
Commander. Commander. Okay. Well, because usually dictators they might go general.
Well, Hitler was Führer.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a title in front of it, did he?
No, but General Gaddafi. It's dictators are usually generals because they think they're like the best. You know, they're the leader of the military.
Well, I could
you
be
go
general.
commander, or would you go? Or you could do a Napoleon. You could do like Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah, you could do a Caesar, or you could do a. I don't know. President. What
president?
What do you feel more authoritative in?
Like glorious king.
Glorious king. Okay, so king. You're more associated to king.
Glorious king.
Glorious king. Okay,
Glorious king.
Glorious king. Do you have to do the name after or before the glorious king?
No, you say, "Look at my glorious king."
Okay.
You know,
your full name or just your first name?
No, you can't say my first name. That's disrespectful.
So it's got to be like middle name as well. You got to be.
No, just glorious King Sims.
Okay. Okay. Fair play. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So if he ever
becomes that in the future,
dictator. What is it? Glorious King Sims over here. If that ever happens,
Sims is such a shit name for that type of stuff, though.
Yeah, it's like the video game. No. Why is Sims becoming?
It sounds like a game attack.
No, but yeah, I think look out for that in the future. The future dictator of the world, right here. Good on him.
Yeah, I'm keen. At least
Get on it, lad. Get on it.
At least I make bank. That's quite
guarantee.
important. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on from that. Now the season has kicked off recently. We can just touch on quickly because of how shit it is. Formula One is back. And it has not changed, unfortunately. So,
yay!
It's Max Verstappen obviously won by about three hours. I think he won the race by
3.5.
3.5 hours. Yeah, I think so. In the I don't even know where it was. Saudi Arabia.
I honestly haven't watched. Well, the race hasn't started yet. Let's be frank. Okay.
Well, no, I'm talking about the last race.
Oh, the last one. Not even talking about qualifying this morning.
Well, yeah, qualifying this morning. He obviously won again.
God. Save us.
Fucking Perez sucks like always. He's not even second, so...
Well, I mean, that sort of helps Verstappen's GOAT case. And that's something that people touch on that say, Verstappen, is he actually one of the greatest of all time?
I think he is, yeah.
Or is he just in an unbelievable car? And I think two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, it's a combination.
Combination.
Yeah.
No, I think Perez is also awful, so I think that should be sort of taken into account. However, his ability to perform at such an elite level every time. How does his car never there's never anything wrong with his car. Like there's never flames coming out of his car. There's never it's such a well-oiled machine. I just can't fathom how there's nothing ever wrong. He's always first. And if he isn't pole, he's first within the race within 3 laps. So it doesn't matter.
I literally don't think he's pushing it at all. I think he's literally just cruising out
That
in
might
front.
be it. He might just be just
and
absolutely
he's
cruising.
never obviously in contact with anyone because he's 4 hours ahead of them. So
fair play. Maybe maybe that is the reason.
Yeah.
So in terms of the race this weekend, do you know where that?
This one's Saudi Arabia.
Okay, the last one was Bahrain, I think.
Okay, Bahrain, yeah. So this one's Saudi Arabia. There was science is out. I don't know why, but there's a new guy in Ferrari.
I saw that.
He didn't make Q3.
Looked about 12 years old.
Yeah. So shout out to him.
Shout out to him, bro.
Didn't make Q3, which is a little bit embarrassing.
If he
but
wins the race,
he's not going to win the
let's
race.
put it out there. If he wins the race, does he replace Carlos Sainz for the rest of the year?
No.
Why not? And Verstappen is full throttle. Like, he hasn't crashed or anything. Like, Verstappen is
Because why?
top of his game.
I don't think Ferrari want him to be the next driver.
But he has to be. You've got to be. You've got to put him in there.
But if they could sign... wait, no, what am I talking about? They've got Hamilton. What the fuck are we saying? So...
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you want it or not. He's the best driver. Surely you put him in there.
Well, it's not really how contracts work, but...
it's not really how contracts work, actually.
I know Danny Rick's McLaren contract obviously didn't finish out, but he finished 11th in qualifying. He's not going to win the race.
He could. Could you imagine? From 11th to 1st, zooming past everyone. You never know. It was just a thought. It was just a thought I put out there.
Yeah.
But
Probably not going to happen, though.
okay, so for this race, do you know who was top 3 in terms of...
It was Max, Leclerc, Alonso was 4th. 3rd, I'm going to guess it was...
Russell?
No. I'm going to guess Perez.
Okay. Guess Perez. Might as well. But no, you're clear on, obviously, Verstappen. What do you reckon the odds are on Sportsbet right now for Verstappen to win?
$1.10.
$1.10, and that's even too generous. So, look, I think Verstappen obviously wins this race. Going to be interesting. Where did Danny Rick end up?
Not a great day for Danny Rick. P14.
Oh, God, he's so washed.
The poor thing is Tsunoda got P9, so...
Oh, he's so washed. He's so washed. He's never
He's not washed. He just had a bad day.
You hoped that he was getting that Red Bull soon next year. He's so washed. Unfortunately for Danny Rick, and look, we're all Danny Rick fans in our hearts, so it's a bit disappointing from our perspective. However, you live and you learn. Oscar Piastri's the next up, so good on him.
Yeah, just please be more likable, Oscar, so then I can support you.
I think he is likable.
Not compared to Danny Rick.
I just think because he took Danny Rick's spot that you're upset with him.
Maybe.
Yeah, we've had this discussion multiple times.
Yeah, but
for multiple years.
And McLaren was shit when Danny Rick was there, and now they're like good. So
it's a shame, isn't it? Could you imagine if you got one more?
It always happens. He leaves Red Bull, they create the greatest car ever seen on a fucking Formula 1
track. Is that coincidence? If he's done it multiple times and they get better after he leaves, is that coincidence?
Well, I don't think he has much to do with the manufacturing of the car.
Coincidence or what's the go?
Yeah, I'm going to say coincidence.
Okay.
Pretty confidently.
I'm actually going to say coincidence, yeah. Okay, it's coincidence. So, how did the boys at Haas do? Obviously, Haas had a...
Hulkenberg crashed or his car malfunctioned or something.
Guys, either fucking... He's either 10th or he's lost, so fair play to him.
Magnussen, I think he made I think he's like 13th or 12th, something. I don't know.
Okay.
So, not too bad for K-Mag.
The two people that hate each other the most.
But Gunter's gone, so...
I know, it's so sad.
You can't support them anymore.
I don't think I ever was. I was just a meme that they were doing so well and they're such a shit box of a car. So, no, I think... Yeah, it's interesting. I think, hopefully... I mean, I have zero interest in watching it in real time. I'll always watch the highlights and check in on it. But if you are actually watching, like, qualifying live, watching the race like you need to get a life.
Especially these time zones because they're on at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I want to know who it is. I get it if you're like, maybe if you're a Verstappen fan, maybe. But if you're like a Mercedes fan or you're a Ferrari fan, what are you doing with your life that allows you to actually enjoy this? How would you actually enjoy? I can't comprehend it.
No, I don't know. But people obviously do it, so...
Well, people obviously do it, but I just can't comprehend it. It's such a boring thing at the moment, and hopefully it changes, because obviously F1, when it's, fun, and obviously when it's fun and, everyone's running around, everyone's having a jolly time, the races are fun, the competition's high, everyone loves F1. However, when it's like this, it's a bit of a bore. Hopefully some rules get injured. I don't know what would happen, but yeah. Do you have a prediction for the season? Who's going to win it all at the end of the year?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Sergio Perez. No. Obviously, Verstappen's going to win unless something drastic happens.
Fair.
I think the more important question is who's going to finish second. Now, that's the real title.
I think it's obviously Leclerc. I don't think it's...
Leclerc?
I don't think anyone else will be. I think it'll be a clear...
Ferrari can't be trusted.
Yeah, but he's still so much better than everyone else. Other than Verstappen, obviously. But his car is solid. So he will... Mercedes are a shit show. Perez is a shit show. It will be between Perez and Leclerc.
Yeah, probably. You never know, though.
You never know. It's life.
Danny Rick could come from the clouds.
Yeah, he could. He could also, die. So that's life, as Frank Sinatra once said.
That's
life.
Okay.
Moving on. Let's move on to a different sport that is way more enjoyable at this current moment.
Which is?
I don't know. What is it? I know cricket? It's not football. I can say that. Cricket ain't fun for me either. But obviously, cricket at the time, or at the time of recording, Australia, I believe, are up against New Zealand. New Zealand sort of had a shock collapse, as well as England did, to be fair. But yeah, Australia looking strong with the bowlers doing the big brunt of the work, and they're looking solid. I don't think they had the greatest score in the world, but
the batsmen suck. I mean, New Zealand were all out for like 160 or something.
Yeah.
And we're fucking struggling. I think we're going to have a lead, but Jesus.
Yeah, I think you've already got a lead, but I think it's going to you're going to be struggling.
Like, fuck, Steve Smith, can we cancel that shit?
I mean, we said it on this show that was a fucking mistake and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that you never see, like, Ricky Ponting, Michael Clark, Joe Root, Kane Williamson, none of the fucking all-time great batters ever open, because the best batters never open. An opener's job is to literally stand there for an hour and block the ball.
Look, he's not the best batter anymore. So maybe that's the argument.
Well, that's probably a part of it, but I think he's for sure better at 4.
Well, they want Cam Green. They want Cam Green to be the future.
To be fair, Cam Green finally did something to warrant his selection after 5 years of being in the team. But he scored 150.
Maybe it just needs to be 4. He needs to be batting 4.
Yeah, everywhere. Maybe chuck him 3. I mean, Labuschagne, we can fuck him off now. He's gone to shit.
Yeah, well, I think the problem with Labuschagne is he plays such a boring style that once he starts to decline as a player, everybody will want him out. So, and look, he's a likable guy. He's a really, really talented cricketer. He's been your stalwart. He's been probably your best batter over the past 5 or so years in terms of consistency. So, fair play to the kid, but he's just not. He's not top gravy.
He's had a rough year, really. He hasn't been good in a year, to be honest. Kawaja, looking old. Even though we're winning these tests, it's like not
the bowl. But it's just your bowlers
the
save
bowlers are insane.
Every single test.
The bowlers are insane.
Like, I cannot wait for them all to retire at the same time. It's gonna be. I want them to all do like a joint press conference, like 4 of them in a row, and it goes one by one by one by one. It's like, I'm Josh Hazelwood and I retire. I'm Nathan Lyon and I retire. I'm Pat Cummins and I retire. I'm Mitchell Stark and I retire. It would be the greatest thing ever. Because then the selectors are like, Jai Richardson, you interested? Michael Neser, you want to come?
Scott Boland?
Scott Boland? And then it just all go to shit. You'd lose against friggin' Pakistan at home. Oh, yeah, wait, you nearly did. So, honestly, I cannot wait for that day. Or it's either going to be, that would either give me the most satisfaction, or if you kept playing them too long. Like, if they were like 41 and they were like
they're not
shocking.
Play at full,
and they're like, well, fuck, who's our backups? We need to kind of keep them around. I would love if that happened. If I just watched them get slowly worse and worse and worse. But no, it's quite bad. For an England fan anyway, how unbelievable your bowling attack is and how shocking ours is. It's quite embarrassing.
Well, what happened? Does Jofra Archer still play cricket?
I don't know what the fuck is up with that guy. He's in. I don't know if he's a missing person. I don't know what's going on. He's obviously injured, but
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, he's like he got fucking shot in the leg, got his arm cut off, and they're doing skin graft surgery layer by layer. I don't know what the fuck's happening with him, because he's clearly our most talented bowler. So yeah, our spin bowling's always been a joke really since Graham Swan retired. So, and that was when I was 9 years old. So really good stuff.
The Leach isn't good.
No, Leach was fucking horrendous. But yeah, our spin bowling is a joke. So, and the good thing about being in India is you never need to have spin bowling. So, yay.
Well, yeah, I've always said that. The best teams in India always play pace bowlers.
Yeah, that's what happens. A good thing we picked, pace bowlers.
And they're not even pace bowlers. They're medium bowlers.
Medium bowlers. Even better, something in the middle, So, no, it's been quite embarrassing. And look, the bowlers aren't even the worst part of it. It's the middle order. We were, I think, 2 for 135 or something like that. We're looking good. I
thought Bazball was like just this perfect style of cricket.
It is. It actually is a perfect style of cricket. How dare you? No, I think we were looking really good. And we have been all throughout this series in terms of our openers. Our openers have given us solid leads. I think the large majority of the opening partnership has been at least 50. So, and a couple have been 40. Like, there's been rarely a time where they get out too early.
Is it Crawley and Duckett?
Crawley and Duckett. I think they've been really good. Crawley's been good. Was good in the first innings. He got, I think, 79. But then when it got to the middle order, it just absolutely collapsed. And yeah, our bowlers can't bat as per, because we're so desperate for spinners. We pick anyone, and they've never batted before in their life, so they're like, all right.
Is James Anderson still playing?
Yeah,
he's still.
Jimmy Anderson's still there.
What the fuck?
And then
he is 41.
He is actually 41. But no, yeah. And then we got bowled out entirely by spinners, which was great. Yeah, I think Ashwin got 4 and another spinner got 5, and then Jadeja got 1. So that was fun. But look, have you seen talking about like the views? I mean, have you seen the view of like that they're playing it? They're playing in the Himalayas. Have you seen it?
Well, I saw during the World Cup there was often mountains behind.
It's like the craziest place. It's like a stadium, and then you look up, and it's just like the Himalayas. It's actually kind of cool. I'd love to sort of be there and at least watch it there. It'd be such an amazing view. But no, the cricket itself has not been an amazing view. So I've just been looking at the mountains the whole time. And yeah, India are like 450 for 8 or whatever. So this test has gone and dusted. So yeah, we're going to be losing 4-1 to India. Well, look,
it's a tough ask beating India in India for any
especially
team.
when you don't have spin bowlers. So yeah, that's a tough ask. So I didn't really have high hopes coming into the series. So for us to look solid early on in the test series and then capitulate is something I'd always expect. So
is
nothing out of the ordinary.
Is the next big series the Ashes for both of us? Because we got the 2020 World Cup, and then after that,
the next big series, I wouldn't know. I'd have to South Africa probably. South Africans are probably sneak in there somewhere.
The Ashes is this year, right?
I don't
in Australia.
I think so. I wouldn't know for sure. Maybe not. Because we had the Ashes last time I was in England. We had the Ashes. We were playing the Ashes. So it was last year in June, I believe. Was I away last year? In June?
I don't know.
Fuck, I can't remember. Jeez, my memory's gone. I'm getting old. Anyway.
Didn't you see Ronaldo play?
I did.
So the year before.
There
you go.
So, okay. So there we go. Big brain stuff right there. So, yeah, essentially, hopefully, we can do well. And we can sort of recover in the rest of the test series, but I doubt it.
Yeah, well, isn't this the last test?
Yeah.
So it's over.
Yeah.
There you go. Good stuff, cricket. Like always, delivers the same shit pretty much. Yeah, I guess unless is there any other major sports you want to talk about, or we can do our last little NRL segment?
We'll do a last little NRL. There isn't much sport in terms of the rest. Football is pretty dead at the moment, if you're a Man United fan especially. So, yeah, nothing to really talk about other than the fact that we're crippled by injuries every single second of the fucking day. Oh, God. It's just embarrassing.
It's shocking. I hate all those guys.
That's coming from the casual guy.
Yeah. So, okay.
It's like me hating Dustin Poirier.
Well, you can hate him if you want. That wouldn't bother me.
No, anyway, go on. Keep it
Yes.
going.
So, NRL season officially kicks off. Well, it kicked off last week, but the first games in Australia kicked off this week. We've had most of the teams play. There's still a few games left to go today and tomorrow before we see all the teams on their first hit out. But I guess we're going to go through an early season predictions. A team that's shocked us, or we think is going to be a shock team, a surprise team to perform well throughout the year, and then also a player that we've seen perform this year already, or someone that we think is going to go on and have a big year.
Well, look, mine's two of them the same. So this player plays for this team, and I was unbelievably impressed with the team when they were in Vegas. Shock. And I was incredibly impressed with the player. That player is Olakau'atu.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Brooks.
No, I'm not saying fucking Brooks. Jesus Christ. And obviously the team is Manly. Now, Manly itself hinges on the fact about injuries. It always will, as long as, they have the Turbo brothers there. It's just the reality of Tom Trbojevic. He is injury prone, unfortunately, for the game. So hopefully he stays healthy, and hopefully they stay healthy. And if they do, I don't think many people would, especially with how they looked last year when Turbo was healthy. Not many probably predicted that they'd get into the 8. However, with that performance, I thought they definitely put on a show, and they showed that they've got that offensive firepower that they had a couple of years ago. So Manly are my sort of shock team to make the 8, maybe even push for the 4 even. I think they could be around that 4, 5, 6 area. So the player, obviously, Olakau'atu, if he doesn't get picked, and there was a bit of conversation.
Yeah, well, you got to forget there's Tyson Frizzell in front of him.
Oh, sorry. Jesus. Could you imagine if we didn't pick Tyson?
You forgot about Hudson Young.
Oh, sorry. I forgot about Hudson Young and Tyson. Could you imagine if we didn't have those two in there? No, in all honesty, if he doesn't get picked for Origin this year, it will be an absolute travesty. He is unreal. He is so big, so athletic, so skillful at his size. There's no way you can't pick him. Now, we've got Madge in charge, so hopefully he'll have some brains and pick him. And he said he'll have a clean slate in terms of everybody, probably apart from, the main stalwarts that will definitely get picked. He'll have some sort of interchangeables, and hopefully Frizzell and Hudson Young will be evaluated, shall we say, and Olakau'atu is put into that side, because I don't care. He is so talented and can change a game so dramatically. And I think he'd work so well with guys like Cleary. And obviously, I don't know about Tedesco, obviously, because Tedesco's more of a running sort of guy. But
Tedesco won't be there, hopefully.
I think Tedesco will 100% be there with his performance in Vegas. How dare you slander his name? No, I think with Olakau'atu in that team, it just gives it so much more firepower, and we've missed it. We have looked sloppy, slow, in that red zone, in that inside the 10 sort of meter line, goal to go sort of situation. We've looked so sloppy, and so we just lacked firepower, and we lacked, especially from the forwards. Now, I don't blame Frizzell and Hudson Young. I don't think it was their fault, obviously, last year. However, they don't have that offensive firepower that you need in an Origin series, and I think Olakau'atu brings it in spades. He's skillful with the pass. He's obviously a power runner as well, so I'd definitely sort of pick him as my surprise player of the year. Maybe Dally M second row of the year. You never know. And yeah, that's my surprise.
Okay. And so Manly's your team?
To surprise and shock people in comparison to the start of the season, yes.
Okay. It's fair enough. They did play very well. Now, South's obviously just sucks, so we'll have to see how they go. South's probably one of the best rosters all time to perform this badly, so Jason Demetrio, he's got to be a good coach. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He has to be up there with one of the greats. But
yeah,
we'll see.
He's not a bad assistant, to be fair to him. He's been on a couple winning teams as an assistant, so
yeah, okay.
We won't besmirch him.
No, we won't. Now, my player is it's actually Spencer Leniu.
Who's your actual player?
No, obviously it's not him.
Who's your player? Who's your player?
My actual player is Taylor May, face tats. Now, face tats he had an ACL last year, missed the entire year, come back and played centre, looked like an absolute beast yesterday. I mean, he was literally destroying them every time he got the ball. He's going to be amazing for us. He's going to have a great year. Could he play Origin? Probably not, because New South Wales have 45 centres. So, anyway, I think he's going to have a big year. Potentially Dally M centre.
He looked good individually.
Now,
However,
okay, I will say his passing game is fucking dreadful. He probably could have given it to Ruver a couple more times, but his running game is so good.
I don't know about the connect. I agree with what you said there in terms of his running game and his ability to create, especially when he looked when he was individual sort of rugby yesterday. However, in a team sort of style, he didn't have that connection with Luai, and I don't know how long it will take. Hopefully, it won't take that long for Panthers fans' sake, but he didn't look too sharp.
Yeah, but I think the connection will come. I mean, it's round one. We always suck at the start of the year, so we'll see. I've got confidence in the boys. My other guy would be the guy who played 6 for the Raiders. I think his name is Smithies. I think he's an English guy. He played really well.
Funny name. Good name.
Yeah, he played really well. So they could have found another one. Who was that half they had a couple of years back that took him to the granny? George Williams. They could have found another one of him, potentially.
Maybe.
So
did you... Oh, I mentioned obviously Savage earlier. Do you like his move to the wing? I think he'd be a better fullback. I think Ricky's just too harsh.
Yeah, I think he's...
I don't know why John Rapana's...
Well, he played well. Rapana's always good. He's consistent.
He's consistent, but is he going to provide that explosive sort of play? I think Rapana's a really good finisher. I think he should be on the wing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where he's played the majority of his career. I think he's 34, so strange time to start playing fullback. But yeah, I think Savage can play fullback, but obviously Ricky doesn't have the confidence in him for whatever reason to do it. They've also got Seb Chris, who they love playing fullback, even though he is fucking mid. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, Raiders recruitment, they got rid of Chance. Like, what the fuck were they doing there? They had a really good fullback, and then they said he sucked, and now he's at the Warriors, and they're probably gonna...
Well, I think their plan was put Savage at fullback. And then Ricky was like, fuck.
Kid's not ready.
Get Rapana out there.
Now, look, I know you've put all your eggs in one basket, but listen to me. Let's put a 34-year-old at fullback. Let's piss this young kid off so he wants to leave. Play him on the wing. Give him pennies. Make him sign somewhere else. And then we'll be ready to go and win a comp.
That's how you do it, Ricky.
I mean, great coaching from Ricky. He always does it. You can't question his coaching. He's always done what's best for the club. One of the best post-game interviewers as well of all time. So he's always good for that. But my surprise team. I don't know. Can I say the Roosters? I don't know.
It's not a surprise team, is it?
But I think it is a surprise that they actually looked good, because they normally look shit to start the year. And I didn't believe they could actually contend, even though they always have the best team on paper. But they did look very good, so I guess that's probably the team.
It hurts you to say, doesn't it?
It really does, because I hate them so much. But
hate's a strong word. I hate I've never rooted for Melbourne in my life, but I was sitting there watching the game last night, and I was like, you know what? Go score a try, Melbourne. Go have some fun.
Well,
you deserve it.
They did that.
And they did. They won convincingly. Well, Penrith aren't definitely going to be my shock. Oh, they might be my shock team, but shock team to get wooden spooners, maybe.
Spoon?
The Tigers are going to move up. Good on them. The Penny Panthers are going to be back where they belong in 16th. Anyways, thanks for listening. I think that was a lovely chat about all sports. Not as much happening. Hopefully it does sort of wind up and get a bit more interesting over the next couple of weeks. And we'll have a bit more of a chat later on. Thanks for listening, and au revoir.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.